Good morning. Welcome to Friday. Today I've got, I don't want to call him an old friend because he's not old, but he's a friend from a long ago. His name is Dan, and I know him as Dano, actually. And most people can't pronounce his last name. It's Knocktraub. Good morning, Dano. People have an issue with your name, right? Knocktraub, man.
That name. Yeah.
But
I
that's
had a
all
client
right.
a client called me Narf Slob the other day, so that was fun.
Oh, Oh, dude, you should not have told me that. You are forever now I'm gonna change it in my phone. Dan Narftraub.
Oh my gosh.
Hello, Dan. So,
Good morning.
good morning, and I wanna apologize. I'm so sorry that I made you get up at 5 because Dan's on the other coast. He's on the west side, and, it's early. I'm
It's 7 a.m. here, Portland, Oregon. Yeah.
mm,
It's still
not
dark.
here. We got the sun shining and some, beautiful skies going on here. Yeah.
Oh, I believe you. I believe you.
Yeah, I know
So,
you do. So let's start way back when and, like take the way back time machine. And you were born where?
uh, 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 okay.
That's a trick question.
You shouldn't we start with why I'm here?
No, you don't
Most
remember
people,
me,
they have
do you?
no idea who I am.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Settle down there, pal.
I know. I know. Anyway,
Anyway, yeah, okay, so first off, let me tell you, Dan and I would go drinking together occasionally. So anyway, tell us where you're from.
uh, Toledo, Ohio. There you go. So now you have the answer to
Oh,
my bank question.
yeah, mud hens. Did you play sports there? Did you do sports balls?
No, I only lived there for like 2 months.
Mm,
Yeah, we moved quickly. When I was growing up, we moved approximately every 2 years until I was in seventh grade. Dad just kept getting promoted in his insurance company, and so yeah, we moved to Indy, to Cincy, to Georgia, to Shrewsbury, Pennsylvania, to West Des Moines, Iowa, then back to Cincinnati, and that was it. Then I spent my wonder years there. So
wow. Where'd you go to high
yeah,
school?
that is a Cincinnati question, isn't it?
Let's go to Cincinnati. Yeah.
Everybody in Cincinnati. That's the caste system of Cincinnati. What high school did you go to? Huh? Huh?
Huh?
Uh,
Moeller? Where'd you go?
I went to Sycamore. Sycamore.
Okay.
So we were the rivals of Moeller. So
Okay.
they kept dating all our women, and we didn't care for that at all. So
Uh, and that's how you met your wife, right? Because you had to go out of the Sycamore grounds and go to Wayne High School and find her?
pretty much.
Yes. Hi,
Yeah.
Nikki. Anyway, so all this traveling as a kid, did it shape what you felt like you wanted to be in the future?
Uh, I don't know. Um, Kind of. You know what's funny? Now that you mention that, yeah, it did. Because
Okay.
I was new to school so many times. I was the new kid so many times. I had to find ways to introduce myself and to become likable quickly. And I found doing funny voices
Mhm.
was an in. And so I would learn to imitate not only just, famous cartoon characters or whatever, or at least attempt them, but I would also imitate school teachers, principals, bosses. Sometimes I would do and scare coworkers and stuff like that. And so I had a knack for manipulating my voice a bit. And that kind of paid off in the end. And I still remember Mr. Diffendahl's class in Pennsylvania, where I had the Man of a Thousand Voices routine that I would go to, and he had a discussion with my parents
Oh.
about that, and he wasn't too sure that I would be making a living doing the Man of a Thousand Voices.
Oh, well, excuse me, sir, you were incorrect. Now let me tell everybody who the heck you are.
Well, now okay, so here you go. So we come full circle. My name is
Yes.
Dan Nachtrab. I'm a voice actor. Most
No,
people
wait,
would
wait, 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 a damn fine voice actor.
okay, well,
He
okay.
does so many things, I can't wait for him to tell you. Go.
I can't fit that on the business card. That's too many words. But so we just go with Dan Nachtrab, voice actor. But most people would recognize my work as a documentary and television show narration voice. Currently, I am the narration voice for the hit show on Discovery called Contraband Seized at the Border, and its two spin-off shows, Seized at the Airport and Seized at Sea. And that is their entire Monday night lineup, starting at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon all the way to 11 or midnight, something like that. It is all contraband the entire night. So, and it's been that way now for like 2 years. We just finished season 7. We wrapped that up just this Monday. Season 2 of Airport is shooting right now. And then seasons 8 and 9 are right after that. So we're going to start recording all of that starting in November. And so it's just going to be next year's a busy year for Contraband. It's
Did you
just
ever think drugs would do so much for you? I mean, seriously, man.
drugs were never really my thing.
Yeah.
It's
I
ironic living in Oregon.
I know, it's like that's the birthplace of all the drugs.
Mm.
Is that beer you're having for breakfast? I know you like beer.
You know what's here's something funny. You don't know this. I stopped drinking. So, yeah, I'm 9 months now. So it's not that I'm like a sober person or anything like that. It's just I'm getting older and my body's not handling it well anymore.
I
So,
understand that.
yeah,
I do.
so, it's Oregon here. It's legal here. Occasionally I do gummies and things like that, but, uh, but, uh, the drinking I stopped. It just wasn't healthy for me anymore. So,
Yeah, I agree. The next day doesn't feel very good. You
no,
may as high as
my
you get, you're gonna go that low
Yeah,
with
and then
alcohol.
and for me, it was lasting for days, and it was just starting to affect my work and family and all that kinda stuff, and it just wasn't worth it anymore.
I'm
So
proud of you. I'm
oh,
very
thank you.
proud of you.
Thank you.
Seriously, I know how hard that is. I don't really drink anymore either. I'm 420 friendly. Yeah, sorry, mom. Um, it's just not like she doesn't know, but every time I mention it on the podcast, I'm kinda like, "Oh, sorry, mom, I'm not trying to stab you." But, you know, it's just I don't have recovery time, and I like not having recovery time. It's very
Yeah,
nice to wake up
yeah.
the next day and go, "Yeah, I'm ready."
I mean, not to just kinda dwell on this subject, but it's funny is that when I go out with friends now and there's beer and whatever going on, if I do a gummy or whatever, I'll just do non-alcoholic beers. And it feels the same way for those
Mhm.
2.5 hours, and then you come down, and
Yeah.
then there's no side effect, and then you wake up the next morning, you're raring to go, it's a wonderful feeling, and you're laughing just as much as you were before.
Oh, maybe
So
more. Maybe more.
so yeah, I
And
don't know.
if anybody wants to give us an endorsement for this type of product, we're open, totally open here. I have to reminisce one time, though, about drinking with you.
Oh,
I didn't
no.
get to go
Oh,
drinking with you very often, but Joe did. And you and Joe and Nikki would meet downtown and have drinks
at
after.
Boston's. Yeah,
Yes,
in Dayton.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And Minster, Ohio is where I got to drink with you.
Oh, yeah,
Except
the
the Clear
Oktoberfest.
Channel parties, the Clear Channel parties were astronomically drunken episodes from the moment you walked in till 5 weeks later, you were still drunk from those. Do you recall those parties?
Sometimes I might get a flash. This is your early 20s, people, you know? It
It wasn't my early 20s. I was old
was
enough to
mine.
know way better. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have to give them a slice. Clear Channel parties for up. I'm just jumping all around. I'm so sorry. Radio is where I met Dano. And he worked at TUE, had the coolest voice on the coolest station. I wanted to work there. You can see I got there eventually. Yeah, got there eventually. And I think I had your job, didn't I? Did you do 7 to midnight?
I did the evening show, yeah, for 9 years. So,
Yeah. And then Marshall Phillips was after you?
Marshall was before me.
Really?
He went from evenings to midday, and I took over for him, I believe. Yeah, that
But
was the
then you
case.
went to mix.
Then I went to Mix in 99.
Right, and that's when I was on TUE. I was over
Right.
there then. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, we would have crazy parties. Clear Channel parties were the most wonderful fun times. Joanne, Weemy, and gang set up for us and some crazy times over at the Marriott in Dayton that some people would stay after because they, drank a lot. It was good times. You could walk out in the parking lot and smoke a joint illegally and then come right on back in and have more beer or cranberry vodkas or whatever your choice was. But it was fun. The other time I want to talk about, though, this is the time. Minster Oktoberfest.
Oh
Do you
God.
recall? Do you
No.
recall?
No.
Really? Oh my. You and Nikki were there. Me and Joe were there. And we had been out drinking. This is a crazy party. I know you have to remember the party. We walk around with half-gallon milk jugs full of beer, drinking straight out of the jug.
Do they still do that?
Yeah,
They do?
yeah.
Wow.
They shut down the whole town, all the
Yeah.
streets, so we can all walk around for the whole weekend being drunk and singing German songs and,
Yeah.
buying crafts and stuff. So
Yeah.
we're walking through the streets after the park had shut down for the night. And we're walking back and we look over in the ditch and
Oh,
there are 2 people going
yes.
to town, baby.
I remember that now. Yes. There were 2 moons that night.
Yes.
So,
3, if you want to get right down to it. Oh my gosh. And that's the best one of the best memories I have with you, where we're all just looking over going, "Oh my god, are they doing what we think we're oh, yeah,
they
they
totally
are.
are doing what
Okay."
you think they're doing. So,
Yeah, and we went over and stared and pointed because we were jerks.
see, this is the days of pre-internet.
And video and pictures and cell phones, so we've got the memories, but we don't
Mhm.
have the proof. And I'm happy with that because no way.
That's funny. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah. So, there's my good story for the day. I won't tell you what we discussed later after that, but yeah, it was a very interesting conversation. The conversation was about those folks and porta potties.
Oh,
I don't know
no.
what yeah, we were talking about, wouldn't it have been better if they would have done it somewhere else?
No. 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 Nothing good ever happens there.
What, in a
So,
porta potty or in the
in a
ditch?
porta potty. God,
Oh.
yeah. Ugh.
Okay, so
Anyway,
let's go back to your life now.
okay.
So you your more frequent life. Um, how did this all transpire? I know you were in radio. and you were in radio, and I saw a post. How many years has it been now since radio
Uh,
got rid of you?
yeah, it was July 15th, 2005. Is my joke is that radio and I had our final disagreement, and that was it. And I walked out the door with my little box in hand and said goodbye and came home and begged my wife Nikki for give me 3 weeks to get this voiceover thing going. And I had been doing it for about 2 years already, just part time. And I was already starting to make as much money as I was in radio,
Mhm.
and I was, and I'm like, if I concentrate on this, I think we can have a go at it. So and then it slow, and I really started to take it seriously, and then there was a realization at one point that there is a big difference between radio and voiceover, and that voiceover is actually acting.
Yeah.
And so that was an epiphany. And once that took place, I had to shake all of my bad habits from radio.
Yeah.
Because you know, I don't know.
It's an announcer
It's
voice
it,
that
there's
comes
an
out.
announcer voice that comes into it, yeah,
Yeah.
and so I had to find a way to become more authentic with my own self and actually open myself up to become vulnerable behind a microphone to express emotion, and not only my emotion but also other people's emotions, become
Right.
different characters, things like that. And so it was a deep dive into my own psyche.
It really is. People don't understand the depth of a voice actor. They
It,
really don't. It's hard. People
yeah.
and I know you've had this yourself, people walking up and go, "People tell me I have a good voice. How can I do what you do?" How do you
Well,
answer that? You
it's a start. I mean, that literally is how I started.
No,
Was
it
in high
isn't.
school.
It
I
is, but
swear on my life it is. I swear on my life it is. It was a high school. I was doing the morning announcements one time, pretending to be a pukey DJ announcing a band. And, I was like, coming up Friday night, it's this band, and they're playing blah blah. And the secretary goes, "You sound just like Shadow Stevens," the
oh
guy who
my.
was doing America's Top 40 at the time. And she was just being nice, but that thing logged in my head. And it shifted the direction of my life. And I was just like, college didn't work out for me. And so I, went to a little tiny little broadcasting school, and I went into radio because of
What
that
was the
comment.
what was the name of the school?
Oh God, oh, do we have to?
No, but I think I went there too. I'm just saying.
It wasn't the one in Dayton.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
it was one
Never
down at
mind.
Cincy. But and then and the school's no longer there anyway.
Yeah.
So but
Mine isn't either.
yeah. And then and that's where it started. So it was that "you have a nice voice" kind of comment that got me into radio. And when I was in radio, I realized that the production side, where you make commercials, and what we call voice imaging, which is the zip zam pow, here's the radio station call letters, your big hits radio station.
See.
Z9, yeah, whatever. And then I got into that kind of stuff, and I found my passion there. I think that I was more interested in that stuff than I was being on air, being a DJ. So
Really, I loved telling stories. I liked telling stories and make people laugh, and I like doing the production side too, but I don't know. Uh, you liked
yeah,
working by
I loved
yourself more.
mixing. I loved the
Yeah.
editing and the mixing and combining it all and having a final piece put together, and then putting it out there. To me, it was just little tiny pieces of art. To me at the time, and years later, you go, yeah, you sounded like your experience. your level of experience.
Ah,
I
yeah.
look back now and I'm just like, "Ugh." I didn't
You
really
have to
I didn't
start
have the chops yet,
somewhere.
but mhm,
It takes time and takes practice, years. It's not
it does.
That's why it's crazy to me that well, it's not crazy, they just don't get it. When people ask you, "How do I do what you do?" Well,
You
it y
start.
y yeah, you just you there's no set line because I had asked you that question at one point, and there's really no line. You do this, 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 this. It's not like a school. You have to figure it out yourself.
Yeah,
Where do you belong? What are you going for? Where do you wanna be? And those are hard answers to
yeah.
get, and especially when you don't know what you're doing when you've been kicked out of radio, and that makes you feel very vulnerable, but it also can make you learn quicker. I think it did for you, because I know you were in Dayton still at the time
Yeah.
when that and, I'm glad you got kicked out of radio.
Oh, I am too. I think it was one of the best gifts of my life, was that. It's interesting that you say that is just that there's no straight line to it, and when you get into it, you really don't even know what you're good at yet.
No.
Because at the time, I was also an on-camera actor as well. I
Yes,
was
you
doing
were.
Yeah, I was doing, commercials and stuff like that. Now, we're in Dayton, so we're not expecting Oscar films and stuff like that, please. But
Yes, but you were an icon in Dayton because you were on what, billboards? Weren't you on a billboard?
yeah, I did a little one of those paycheck week, cash places, and yeah, and that the paycheck
It
from
was
that bought my first studio.
right,
So,
that's what I mean, don't
yeah.
don't ever poo-poo it, it's great.
No, I'm not. It
Okay.
was great, and so but eventually the demand from voiceover overtook the time that I had available for on camera. Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
yeah.
So it was more beneficial for me to stay behind the microphone than it was to go on a shoot, because, I could turn something around in 15, 20 minutes and make the same amount of money I would spend on an 8-hour shoot.
Right, and you had to spend all that extra time to get that money, and you had to leave the house.
Right. Right. Exactly. And so, and memorize lines and blah, blah,
Mm,
blah. And,
yeah,
and
bleh.
it was, you know, and so it was more beneficial for me to just concentrate on voiceover and that. And so, but I didn't know that. I didn't know that until I was forced to make that decision. And then when we got into voiceover, I was like, well, what am I good at here? Well, there's so many different genres of voiceover.
List
There's
a few of
commercial
them.
voiceover.
Okay.
There's e-learning voiceover. There's straight up industrial narration, which is safety videos for work, things like that. There's TV documentary narration. There's animation. There's audiobook, and then there's all the accents and things that go with that. You know, uh, so many different genres. TV promo. But then you've got niche genres inside of that. Can you do rom-com? Can you do heartfelt? Can you do drama? Can you do comedy? And so there's all these different niches. And movie trailers, same thing. And so
TV,
you don't
radio,
know
it's
what you're good
all.
at until you get in there.
And then
And
you
so
still don't know
and
because
then
you
you
have to
just don't
try it
know.
all.
When I got in officially, when I really wanted to do, I wanted to be one of the radio imaging guys,
Well, you
and
were, weren't you?
no, I never got that off the ground because it ends up I kinda sucked at it.
Oh,
I
I would have never
did.
guessed that.
I it wasn't my thing. I think it was honestly, like I
Wow.
said, it's a deep dive into your psyche. I was so angry at radio for what
Yeah,
it did to me that I didn't wanna promote it.
I
I
completely
think 20
understand
years
that.
later, I can finally admit that, you know? And so I think that bled into what
Your
so
performance
I
was,
yeah,
oh,
performance-wise, so I started concentrating on other things. And, so
smart
then
man.
yeah, so then I started going into TV, TV promo and trailers where I really started to study first, And then I realized I didn't have a foundation for a commercial or anything like that. And so I started over again 5 years after I'm full time. And I started taking beginner courses again. And then I got a foundation. And then once I realized that radio was still affecting everything that I was doing, and it took me another 2.5 years to break that. So here it was, we're 2012, 2013 now, and I left radio in 2005. That's when things started to take off. And I started to gain national traction. So, so once I got radio out of me and started to be more authentic with my own storytelling, that's really when the rubber met the road.
It it's crazy, isn't it, when it
Yeah,
finally clicks?
yeah. So God, for a while it just seemed like I was everywhere. Uh, I was the brand voice for National Geographic for 8 years. I was doing WWE SmackDown, movie trailers. God, I was on almost every network doing promos. I was doing narration for History, Weather Channel. I'm still doing all that kind of stuff too, but in National Geographic and PBS and all that kind of stuff. And it's just continued since. But yeah, it got crazy for a while. And things have kind of leveled now.
Well, tell me more about
I found my groove.
that. That's good, but tell me more about the crazy time. I mean, you just were getting thrown everything. Not thrown, you earned it. But I mean, you were getting offered things a lot.
Yeah. Well, I was the hot new kid for a while.
Okay.
And I've been around now long enough that I can see the cycles of that, and I know enough people who've been through the machine as well, where they see the cycle as well. And so there's a new kid that'll last about 8 years, and then they find the next new one, because
Okay.
and it's a trending. It's trends kind of shift over time. I call it the Pareto principle of voiceover, where it's the 80-20 rule. Where 80% people like similar, they want it the same, but all the new producers want something new. They want something new but the same. Okay, so the new is the personality and the voice of the new person, but the new person is bringing something similar to the table. And so over time, that extra 20% shifts the overall trend. It's just chipping away, eroding at it, and eventually the trend shifts over 10 years. And you see it in movie trailers as well too. There's about a 10-year shift on movie trailers, and the voices are really hot for a while, and then there's a couple new seats at the table at that. So that's basically it. The only stability that I've seen kind of is in narration, where the producers really like consistency. They want to know that their story's going to get told well. And
Right.
so, yeah, I haven't
Well,
seen
that's
that
good,
trend.
though.
That's yeah, yeah. If
I
you're
don't
in,
think that's a trend you're gonna break anytime soon, mainly because you are very consistent. I've listened to all the programs you're on. Well, not every one, but you know what I'm saying, all your,
yeah,
drug bust things, and it's all consistent, and it's what they're expecting, and you're right where you're supposed to sit with what you're saying. Because there's so many things in voiceover that or voice acting that most people don't understand. There's places that you need to place yourself within these scripts, in a sense.
yeah,
You have to stay underneath kind of, but there enough. for you to be a piece of
Yeah.
what's going on.
Specifically in narration, you're never the star.
Right.
Yeah, you're never the focus point. You're always in the background just leading the story along, and if you become visible, in an
Yeah.
audio sense to the audience, you're doing it wrong,
Right.
you
And
know?
that's hard to learn.
It's
People
very hard to learn it's so subtle, that kind of work, and, you know, that's why we never get invited to Comic-Cons.
That's okay. They think you're boring at Comic-Con, but you know what? Eh, that's alright. Tara's strong, I love her. She goes to the Comic-Cons, but I
But
can't see you being there.
I've been to a couple just as, a regular person just walking around, they're fun. So,
Oh, yeah.
but,
We've
yeah,
done that too. Once
but,
again, you need to come and visit so we can, go look for people in ditches. Mm.
I think that might be a once in a lifetime thing.
Ooh. I'm hoping to relive some of my past here. But as you keep getting more and more popular, you said you've kind of leveled off, but
Mm.
that's still a lot of work you're doing. You know,
Yeah,
you're are you do you get in your studio every single day? And do you work
every
from
day.
home?
Yeah, yeah, I'm still working from home. And,
Good.
yeah, I'm still, every day, it's still I get in here about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I leave at about 6 p.m. I'm doing sessions and auditions all day long. I sit in this what you see right here is a little 4 by 4 booth, okay? So, if you I live in this little tiny thing,
Mhm.
basically, and a lot of people they'll just walk away at that point.
Yep.
They're like,
Claustrophobic.
yeah, well, to me, this is a playground because I get to play up here,
Mhm.
and that is the fun part for me is that I get to go in and just create these stories and characters and have a ball doing it. And it is it's just this little safety cocoon for me, this lovely little womb where it's just me, words, and a light bulb and a microphone. And I get to go tell stories and I live in those worlds.
It
Um,
is a great analysis that you just said, the cocoon, because those booths are like a cocoon.
yeah,
They
and
really do feel that way.
well, it's I've had engineers and stuff ask me. They go, "Do you want to build out a booth and have a proper room?" And I'm like, "This is all I've known. I've had this booth since 2006."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I know every corner, nook. I know how to work this microphone and the other one that I got here, and I just and I don't know. I just know it. It's so comfortable to me now, and I don't wanna mess with that. So,
I I get that because look at what you just told us. You just told us that you had a hard time getting to the place where you wanted to be. It took you a long time to figure out where you wanted to be. You did it all in that room. You sat there, figured out your whole life basically in that room, and now it is your partner in crime, basically, because that's where you're so very comfortable to
yeah,
do all the things you gotta do, and you found your place. So why
yeah,
would you change it? That's crazy.
yeah. I mean, unless I wanna, go I told you about we were texting about that Neumann
Mm,
U87 microphone, the
yeah.
Norman, and
Yeah, the Norman.
and
Got a
and
Norman mic?
yeah, I had a 1969 vintage, Neumann U87 microphone. It was just gorgeous, but it was so sensitive, it could hear the corners of this little booth, and the only reason I would ever build out is to get a microphone like that again,
Really?
and so that I could properly have something that gorgeous, but that's the only reason I would ever do it. So, there's a pros and con list, and
Yeah.
so if you only have one pro,
Yeah.
and that is to spend an additional $4,000 to have one microphone.
Mhm. Well, how much is it gonna cost you to build out? I mean,
Exactly. So
plus
there's
the
yeah,
microphone,
exactly.
and
So
those aren't
why?
cheap. I used one once, I think at Randy Thomas's house when she lived here, and it just wasn't for me. It
She had
Yeah,
the
she had a
manly
Manly.
yeah, and that was gorgeous. Oh my god. I
Mhm.
love
Have
that
you ever
thing.
Yeah, she had a cool studio here.
Mhm.
It was,
She, she was fundamental at the
yes,
beginning of my days,
yes, and
and
yeah, she did, what was it? Hooked on Phonics.
yeah,
That's the
she
first
was
time I got a taste of her.
to the listeners out there, Randy Thomas is the voice of the Oscars, Entertainment Tonight, the Tony Awards. She's just done so many things, and in 2006, I hit a wall with my voiceover stuff, and, I started to go, "I need to get lessons." And so I found a workshop going on in Fort Myers, at a place called Sky Studio, which was being hosted by Randy and a couple other, voiceover talent, including Brian Lee, who is probably one of the biggest voiceover talent in the world, who's become a friend of mine over the years now.
Cool.
And I took that was my very first workshop was there in Fort Myers. And Randy took me and Nikki and our daughter to her house and gave us a tour. And her home was beautiful. And she
Yep.
goes, "This is possible. This is
Yeah.
possible." You know?
Isn't it wonderful to be led by the arm or the hand of someone like Randy Thomas? I mean,
Yeah.
that's a gift that, you got. You weren't led into this, you worked hard for it. I don't wanna ever make you think like, "Oh, hey, you know her, so that's how you got in." No, it's not like that at all. You might have a friend that can help you a little bit, but you still have to stand there yourself and do the work. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter who you are. And, it's good to have her as a confidant. And did you take lessons from her?
No. After that, she introduced me to somebody named Maurice Tobias.
Yep.
And Maurice is like Yoda. She's a little tiny person who can see right through you
Oh, I
and
love that.
and and knows everything that you're thinking before you think it. And you know, I coached with her for probably 2.5, 3 years on promo and trailer and stuff like that. She enlightened me and showed me the way and how to build a really successful and what she calls a celebrity career. Okay. Now, a celebrity for voiceover means that other voiceover people know who you are.
Yeah.
We're much like architects. Only architects know other architects' work.
You're right. You're
The
very
public
right.
walks by a pretty building and goes, "That's a pretty building," and then they move on with their day. It's the same with voiceover. They go, "Oh, that's an interesting voice," and then they move on with their day. Uh,
And they have no
so
idea they're standing next to you in the grocery store.
exactly, it's wonderful.
And it's
Uh,
wonderful.
and Maurice took me under her wing, and she gave me the proper guidance on how to build that career and all that kind of stuff. And then I moved, and then I had to, and then to get she was teaching me stuff that I wasn't ready for.
Oh,
It was strange because I was studying a lot of workshops and I'm working with these really high-end talent who are taking me under their wing and being, and mentoring me. And and it wasn't until later that and I was kind of mimicking them every time I go on the booth, and I had no understanding of what I was doing.
okay.
Does that make sense?
It does to me because,
Okay.
uh, Yeah, when you're confused as to what you're trying to do in your mind and you're still trying to do it, what somebody else is telling you, it doesn't come
Right,
out right.
right.
Yeah.
And so I had to go find a coach, which I did, to teach me the beginner and give me a foundation to build upon. And once I had that foundation, I often describe it as I needed somebody to build me the house, and then I go to somebody like Maurice, who can be the interior decorator.
Great analogy. Oh, yeah. Get a little
And that's
finesse going.
yeah, and so I was learning how to throw pillows before I learned how to, put a roof on the place.
Yeah.
And that wasn't, you know, and so that kind of delayed me a little bit, but once I got the foundation, all those lessons clicked and it
Yeah.
just took off. So,
Yeah. All the cogs lined up right, and then you've been doing this for over 20 years, right?
yeah, yeah, full time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
See, and
I mean,
that's another
I
go ahead.
started part-time 2005 or 1995-ish. I was doing car ads and stuff like that. So, down in Cincy.
Mhm. And it is such a different thing to do radio, and you listen to the commercials that are on radio stations, and you know that they're done by the talent at the stations, well, if there is any talent left now, but they sound horrible. They don't sound like they should, because there should be caring in it, and a human factor, and a way to connect, but that's not how an on-air personality reads a commercial.
No. No, I mean, we could go down that rabbit hole if you want, but
No, we don't need to. I'm just making sure everybody understands it's not the same.
no,
You
it
don't
isn't.
just come out of doing commercials for a radio station, "Hey, so and so John Slob down the street, he's having a party, blah, blah, blah." It's really straight across boring. And what Dan O does is give it life, give it a personality, make it live where it's supposed to live in the realm of what's going on around it, whether it's staying beneath the story and being that small part in narration, or where you're the life of the party doing a commercial for a large company.
Right.
It's very, very different. And it's so many different just collections of people that do these.
Mhm.
It's amazing. Are you afraid of AI? I wanted to ask you that.
Uh, Me personally, not really. I'm afraid of somebody ripping my voice off.
Yes, that I
Um,
would be terrified of at this point.
yeah, but, I will never submit my voice to an AI company. Um, First off, I love the process more than I love the finished product and the money. Does that make sense?
To me, it does,
Yeah.
totally,
I love the
because it's the
work.
art. It's the
Right,
art for you. This is what keeps you from going nuts every day,
right,
sitting in that little 4 by 4.
right. I love what I do, and so to give that part of it away is stupid. And they
Right.
go, "Well, it's passive income, blah, blah, blah." And I'm
No,
like, "No,
I'm
but that's not why I'm here.
right, I'm not looking for that.
I'm not look." Yeah, exactly. So that's stupid. Now, if it comes to the part that I get James Earl Jones famous and I'm on my deathbed and somebody
Oh,
wants to
stop.
buy the rights to my voice so that my grandkids can have a college fund, sure. But
Okay. We just
will
went
that
into the
happen?
morbid.
I don't think so, but
I hope not, please. It's Friday night. We don't wanna ruin Friday night, man.
no, but I'm not afraid of it. But the sad part about it is that, um, it's killing a lot of the opportunities that people who just want to get in to voiceover, um, need. It's those opportunities, it's those places where companies only need what I call an adequate voice.
Yeah. The
They don't
secretary
need
does it,
right. They don't need the voice. They
Right.
just need somebody to read it, and this is this is the opportunity where people can go in and just start experimenting with this up here, their imagination, and really fine-tuning themselves, in their ability to tell a story, and from different perspectives, yours, theirs, the
Yeah.
person as a salesperson, who whatever character it is. And the AI, because they only need something that's adequate, well, AI is adequate, and
It's
that's the problem.
boring.
And it's
It's
boring,
boring.
and it often mispronounces words and blah, blah,
Yes.
blah. But, it's it I it at the level that I'm at, I'm not worried about it. But I but
No
for
new people can really come in.
it's the new people that I fear for. I mean, it's
Yeah.
gutted. It's gutted the Fiverr crowd and, you know, all of those people. It's just destroyed that market
Yeah.
altogether. Um,
Radio did the same thing, they got rid of people that did overnights and, put in voice tracking, and that was the beginning of its demise, was getting rid of the people,
here's
and
here's an interesting. Do you want to have a quick discussion on radio?
yeah, bring it.
I think podcasting is radio.
It is, but it's a different format here at least because I can see you and I don't have to pretend what you look like. I can see you.
I
But
I
I
think
like
that I think that radio is
more.
only it's going in a cycle right now, and it's relearning itself.
Mhm.
And that music itself can't be the only form of entertainment. We can get music anywhere now, you
Correct.
know?
And
And
not
we
the
can get
same 25 songs over and over.
right. And the DJ in between doesn't really matter anymore. It
'Cause they're
you know?
boring and all they do is read liner cards. If you're not telling some good stories or things you've
Exactly.
gone and done, you're missing the whole point. I mean, people need people to be in that room with them, whether it's a TV they've got on in the background sometimes or the radio that they're just passively listening to, but they're listening for some human connection at some point
Right.
that is not just sounding like that sweeper. "You're listening to WPBB," uh, who
And
needs
that's
that?
why I think podcasting has become so popular, is because it's giving that human connection. And I
Right.
think that if radio is gonna survive, and
It's
I'm
not.
seeing this now, it's gonna start going to the talk formats, and it's
Okay.
gonna become more intellectual, and it's gonna drive people to stop and listen again, because they can get music anywhere, but they can't
Right.
get the human connection.
I see people going in the grocery store, and they want human connection, especially here. It's an older town, and they come into the grocery store for some human connection. I'm willing to give them a hug. If they need a hug and I see it, I'm gonna give that to them because these people are missing out so much on just human contact that they need to
Mhm.
go to a grocery store every day so they can feel human. And it's awful that you can't just get that in your own home anymore.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's revolutionizing things with the podcast. I
Right.
love this format. It's so much nicer.
It
I
is.
appreciate it so
It
much
is.
more.
This is
I don't
so
have
much
to.
more engaging to me being with you right now than I ever had on the radio
Right,
playing music,
right.
you
And I've
know?
got great stories to tell just like you do. I mean, hell, oh my god, and I've told some of them, I can't tell them all, but there was one time you and I were standing backstage of Cheap Trick. I've got a picture and I couldn't find it of you and me, and I don't remember who it was backstage. Cheap Trick at Fox Rocks the Square, 'cause I
Oh, Rick
I
Nielsen.
brought them to town. Yeah. Was
Yeah,
it okay, yeah. You've got that somewhere too. I know I sent it to you, but it's
yeah,
you and me and him, and it's just like, this is magic. Because music was a big part of radio,
yeah.
because we were giving you the people and information about those people that you wanted to know. But it's
Yeah.
not like that anymore. They
Well,
don't
yeah,
give you.
exactly. It's because back then, because of the way that the media was designed, where we didn't have the freedom that we have now, we
Right.
were
Yeah.
locked into a similar cultural world, or outlets that we all had similar outlets for our cultural intake. Is that music was part of your identity. So there were
Yeah.
rock people, there were hip hop people, there were rap people, there were the office worker people. There
There were
there
all of us.
there
Mike, you can join in. You can totally join in. I see him in the background just going, "Yeah."
yeah, not
No.
gr
Knopftraub, right? Knopf with an F. Knocktraub.
No,
Mhm.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Nope. Right.
Right.
No. Yeah, because nobody can do it anymore. It's been taken away. Right.
Right.
Right. But you don't get the ones where, like, we all lived it. I mean, I could tell you craziness that went on at our X Fests that you have no idea about. Right. Yeah. And I don't care. Yeah. You don't. You don't find real people telling real stories except in this situation now, and I I I would do this every day over radio, every day. I It's much better. I can say what I want. I I can say what I want. I am actually myself, so I can actually,
Yeah,
be who I wanna be, just like you, Dano. You live in your head and
yeah,
bring out those characters, and I appreciate that because I'm a storyteller, just like you. I love telling stories.
yeah. And that was, I mean, to bring it full circle, that was what the radio sound did, is we were so locked in on those liners and bringing that false sense of being friendly, to the public in between the songs and stuff like that. It becomes ingrained in your voice, in the way that you
Yeah,
present, and you would bring that to your commercials. You would just be inauthentic to these people and just put on a fake smile and say the words and get through it because it's just part of your daily job. And
right.
and that lived through, into my early days of voiceover work, and to make this come even full circle again, is that in these kind of formats, it's the authenticity.
Mhm.
It's the authenticity that resonates
Really
with
does.
people.
And that's why, I choose my guests as I like to say, these are people I know that are doing cool ass shit because you are. And I'm so proud of the people that I've gotten to be part of their lives where they go and do huge things. It makes me so happy to just know that you can follow your dream and actually reach where you want to get to. And
Just,
I'm very happy for you for that, you know?
oh, thank you.
Oh!
Honestly, from my perspective, I mean, I'm sitting here going, there's no finish line.
No.
There isn't until you pull the plug.
Mm.
And so to me, it's not a race. There's no top level. There's no nothing. It's just every day I take another step.
Right.
Every day I go in and I go to work. And every day I do one more thing, one more hustle, to keep this thing moving. And
Right.
if you don't go in with that mentality that you can you know, that if you think you reach a particular thing, a point, and you get to stop, yeah, you're
Oh
kidding
gosh,
yourself.
no.
You are kidding yourself.
There's no stopping. The train goes and goes and goes. When you hop off,
Yeah.
it's done for you. The
Th
train's gonna keep going.
there was a comedian, Rob Riggle, said in I'm gonna paraphrase here real quick. He was on SNL for, about 2
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah,
And
I remember him.
all of his friends are saying, "You made it, you made it, you made it." And then he was let go at the end of that season. And he's telling this story in front of a crowd one time, and he goes, "I gotta tell you, I've been in this business long enough to realize that everybody is just working for the next gig.
Yes.
We are
You're
all people who are just working for the next gig. It just happens to be that our work is in the public eye.
Mhm. That's
That's
so
it.
true, and
That
they
is
get to
it."
judge us and make
Yeah.
it whether we get to stay or not, and that can be unnerving at times,
And
but
and fame is only an attachment to the work, not the
yeah,
person, and never confuse the two.
right. That's a good point. Because fame is what you've done, it's not who you are.
Right. Exactly. So, and I think
Wow.
that's why people get upset when a somebody famous says something about politics or something like that. It's like,
Right.
"No, that character would never say that." Yeah,
Yeah, they
that's
have
why.
freedom of speech, but
Yeah.
seriously, play
There
your part, I I kinda get upset when I go to a show and somebody wants to politically beat me over the head, I don't care which side, but it's like, "N no, please just sing." I tell me that later in an article.
Well,
I wanna hear, your best song, not this crap. But
when you go see Rage Against the Machine,
oh
you're
my
gonna get
god,
it.
yeah, you're gonna oh my god. I have never seen them, and I used to play them on the Edge, and it was just like, I loved them, but yeah. No, I don't need to be told how to think, but it's amazing how full circle this has all come. I mean, radio into podcasting and being podcasting kind of. It's it's a big machine, just like you said. And you're part of the machine, and so am I, but at least we get to travel whatever avenue we want.
Yeah,
Not
a
like
bit.
when we were doing radio.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny is that, the position that I was in back then and I felt the way that when you can self-analyze back then, they
Uh-huh.
treated us as adequate,
Oh, yeah.
and that was it. And
Yeah.
and so, the money was low, and they knew they could find somebody else in a heartbeat.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, yeah, and there was and the only payoff was getting to meet people like Rick Nielsen.
I have said that my entire life. Joe and I both. It's like, all right, we don't make big salaries from this. Never are we going to. But you know what? We've had the perks, and the perks are going to free shows, which holy cow, you know how much those shows cost now?
Yeah.
Let's talk. I went to see Dave Chappelle. It cost me $200 a ticket. That about broke my heart, and that's cheap. But we've seen the bands. Not only have we seen the bands, we've met the bands, we partied with the bands, stood side stage with the bands while they play, or up in the Hera box office where we can watch, and have our own bar. I mean, there were so many perks with radio. How could you pass that up ever?
Yeah. It was fun.
It was fun. And we've got great memories, but you can't see them because there's no pictures, and that's fine. It's all good, man.
We just can't post them.
I'll share. I've got a whole can of stuff here. I'm going to send you pictures of. Oh, Dano, thank you so much for joining us today and telling us all about what you have. And I love that for you. And I'm so proud to know somebody that actually climbed the ladder and got where they wanted to go. It's just a beautiful thing.
Oh, well, thank you. And thanks for having me, and I'm glad to see you. I'm so
Yeah.
excited. So,
Me too. Me too. I'll give you a call in a little bit.
okay.
Okay. Thank you for being here. And Mike, thank you for being here. And see you next week. Friday. Yay.